Here's a brutal fact. 78% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and the average person will never save even $50,000 in their entire lifetime. But what if I told you that the difference between staying broke forever and saving your first $100,000 fast comes down to just 5 problems that most people don't even know they have? I'm Matt, and I turn money problems into money solutions without the boring textbook BS. Subscribe for weekly wealth-building strategies that actually work if you're ready to stop being broke and join the financially free gang. Let me share something that changed my entire perspective on money. It's called the Pareto principle. This Italian economist, Vilfredo Pareto, discovered that 20% of his pea plants produced 80% of his peas. Then he noticed the same pattern everywhere. 20% of people owned 80% of the land. 20% of your clothes get worn 80% of the time. And here's the kicker, 20% of your financial moves will generate 80% of your wealth. This isn't just theory. I learned this the hard way when I was grinding 70-hour weeks, but my bank account stayed flatter than roadkill. I was putting in maximum effort, but getting minimal results because I didn't understand where real value gets created. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's legendary business partner, once said, "The first $100,000 is a bitch, but you've got to do it." Why? Because once you hit that milestone, something magical happens. Your money starts working almost as hard as you do. That 10% annual return that seemed meaningless on a $5,000 portfolio suddenly represents $10,000 of growth on your $100,000 nest egg. Your investments become your financial coworkers, clocking in 24/7 without coffee breaks. Problem number 1, you think busy equals paid. This is the productivity trap that keeps hardworking people poor. You're grinding 60+ hours a week, answering emails like your life depends on it, but your paycheck stays flat. Sound familiar? You've caught the effort equals income disease, and it's terminal for your bank account. Here's what's actually happening. You're confusing motion with progress. Just because you're sweating doesn't mean you're winning. While you're busy being busy, other people are focusing on what actually moves the needle and getting paid for it. Take Jessica and Alex at the same company. Jessica works weekends, responds to every Slack ping, and stays late every night. Alex shows up at 9 a.m., spends 15 minutes identifying what actually impacts the company's revenue, ignores 70% of meetings, and leaves at 5 p.m. Guess who got promoted? Alex. Why? Because money follows impact, not effort. This reminds me of my old superhero wallet. Yeah, I know, adulting is hard, and sometimes you need a superhero to help you budget. But here's what's crazy. Every person who touched this wallet, from the cotton farmer in Georgia to the factory worker in Vietnam to the truck driver who delivered it to Target, they all added value to the chain. The cotton farmer probably made more than the store clerk selling it because they're producing the raw materials. The factory supervisor made more than the line worker because they're coordinating the entire operation. It's all about where you sit in the value chain and how much impact you create. The solution? The impact amplifier method. Stop treating all tasks like they're created equal. Use the 80-20 rule. 20% of your work activities generate 80% of your results. Your job is to identify that crucial 20% and ruthlessly focus there. Ask yourself daily, what are the 3 things I can do today that will move the most important metrics at my company? Then do those first. Everything else is just noise that's keeping you broke. Problem number 2, your money is lazier than you are. Here's the brutal truth. If your money only works when you work, you're financially handicapped. Most people think the only way to make money is trading hours for dollars. But what happens when you get sick, take vacation, want to sleep in? Your income flatlines. The real problem, you've been programmed to be a financial one-trick pony. Your paycheck has a single point of failure, you. That's not building wealth, that's building a trap. The solution? The money multiplication system. Your money needs to work harder than you do. Every dollar you save should be an employee working 24/7, 365 days a year, generating more money while you sleep. Start with the simplest passive income machine, S&P 500 index funds. Here's why this works. You're buying tiny pieces of America's 500 biggest companies. When they grow, you grow. When they profit, you profit. Think of it like this. You're not just saving money, you're hiring a money-making army. Each dollar invested is a soldier working around the clock to bring you more soldiers. Here's where compound interest becomes your secret weapon. When you first start investing, it's like rolling a snowball down a mountain. At first, it's tiny, maybe just $50 or $100 extra for each month. But over time, that snowball picks up more snow, gets bigger, rolls faster, and eventually becomes a massive money avalanche working for you. This compound effect is what separates the wealthy from everyone else. They understand that small, consistent actions create unstoppable momentum over time. The math that'll blow your mind. If you invest $500 monthly in an S&P 500 index fund, averaging 10% annual returns, after 10 years, you'll have about $102,000. You only put in $60,000 of your own money. The other $42,000 came from compound interest. But here's the kicker. Over the past century, the S&P 500 has averaged about 10.7% annual returns when dividends are reinvested. Miss out on reinvesting those dividends, your returns drop to just 6.6%. That 4% difference might seem small, but over 30 years, it's the difference between a comfortable retirement and eating ramen in your 70s.
Problem number 3, you're penny wise and 100 foolish. This one's painful to watch. People stress about their $5 coffee while ignoring their $2,000 rent that's too high. They'll clip coupons for groceries but won't shop around for car insurance. It's like trying to lose weight by switching to diet soda while eating pizza for every meal. What's happening? You're micromanaging the wrong expenses. Your brain tricks you into feeling productive by cutting small costs while the big expenses eat your future alive. The math that'll shock you? Cutting your $15 Netflix subscription saves $180 per year. Moving to an apartment that's $200 cheaper saves $2,400 per year. That's 13 years of Netflix savings in one move. The solution? The big rock strategy. Attack your top 3 expense categories first, usually housing, transportation, and insurance. These probably eat 60 to 70% of your budget. Let me break down the real numbers that'll wake you up. Housing. Can you refinance at a lower rate? Every 1% reduction on a $200,000 mortgage saves you $2,000 annually. Get a roommate to split costs? That could save $6,000 to $12,000 per year. Move to a cheaper area but keep your current salary by working remote? Even a $300 a month reduction equals $3,600 annually. Transportation. Buy a reliable used car instead of financing new? The average new car payment is $718 a month. A decent used car might cost $300 a month. That's $5,016 saved annually, enough to max out an IRA. Insurance. This one's crazy. Spending 2 hours comparing auto insurance rates annually can save the average person $1,000 plus. That's literally earning $500 per hour for paperwork. Focus on the big rocks first. A 10% reduction in your major expenses beats a 50% reduction in small expenses every time. Problem number 5, your brain is sabotaging your wallet. Your mind is literally programmed to keep you broke through something called the forbidden fruit effect. When you tell your brain it can't have something, it wants that thing even more. That's why extreme budgets fail, just like crash diets. Restriction leads to rebellion. The self-sabotage cycle: you create a super strict budget, you feel deprived, your willpower breaks, you binge spend, you feel guilty, and you give up completely. I've seen this happen so many times. People try to micromanage every single purchase, feeling guilty about buying a cup of coffee, tracking every penny like a financial drill sergeant. Eventually, they burn out their willpower and end up binge spending on something expensive because their brain screams, "Enough of this torture." The solution? The environment design method. Instead of relying on willpower, which is limited, design your environment to make saving automatic and spending inconvenient. Automate your savings so you never see the money. Set up separate accounts for different goals. Remove shopping apps from your phone. Unsubscribe from retailer emails. Make your money harder to spend than it is to save. Your environment shapes your habits more than your willpower ever will. Work with your brain's laziness, not against it. Think of each dollar as a soldier in your 100K army. Every dollar you save from optimizing the big expenses can be invested or put into high-impact funds. It's like giving your army tanks and helicopters instead of slingshots. The more you optimize these major areas, the faster your savings grow without the stress of micromanaging every purchase. This creates another snowball effect where smart financial habits compound on themselves, making future decisions easier and more automatic. Problem number 5, you're playing financial defense when you need offense. This is the biggest wealth killer of all. You're so focused on not losing money that you never focus on making more. You save every penny but never invest. You're playing defense in a game that requires offense to win. The scarcity mindset trap. I can't afford to invest, or what if I lose money? Meanwhile, inflation is definitely stealing your money while you're worried about maybe losing some. Let me put this in perspective. If you keep $10,000 in a savings account earning 0.5% interest, while inflation runs at 3%, you're guaranteed to lose $250 in purchasing power every year. You're not protecting your money, you're slowly destroying it. The solution? The multiple income stream strategy. Stop putting all your financial eggs in one basket. Your job is just your foundation, not your ceiling. Build multiple income streams that work together. Start with your main job optimized for maximum impact using the strategies we just covered. Then add automated investments like S&P 500 index funds working around the clock. Create side income by monetizing skills you already have. And finally, explore alternative investments like real estate, dividend stocks, or even unconventional options like managed agricultural assets where you can invest in walnut plantations that produce income for decades. Here's the power of diversification with real numbers. Let's say you make $60,000 annually from your job. Add $6,000 from side freelancing and $4,000 from dividend investments. Your total income jumps to $70,000. That's a 17% increase. But here's the kicker. If you invest that extra $10,000 annually at 10% returns, over 20 years, you'd have an additional $630,000. That's the snowball effect of multiple streams compounding together. You don't need to quit your job to build wealth. You need to stop depending only on your job for wealth. The key is diversification, not putting all your power-ups on one character. Some income streams will grow slowly and steadily, others might spike unexpectedly, but together they create a financial foundation that can't be destroyed by any single event. Avoid the trap of trying to time the market perfectly, because most people who try to buy low and sell high end up doing the opposite. Instead, focus on consistent investing and let the markets do what they do best over time.
The compound effect. Why time is your secret weapon. Here's the part that'll blow your mind. The earlier you start, the less money you actually need to invest to reach 100K. This is compound interest in action, and it's the closest thing to magic in personal finance. If you start investing $300 monthly at age 25, assuming 10% annual returns, you'll hit 100K by age 35. That's only $36,000 of your own money. Compound interest contributed the other $64,000. But if you wait until age 35 to start, you'd need to invest $600 monthly to hit 100K by age 45. Waiting 10 years means you need to invest double the amount monthly to achieve the same result. That's why solving these problems now isn't just about money, it's about time. Every month you delay is costing you exponentially more than just that month's potential investment. The bottom line, your first 100K isn't about perfection. It's about solving the right problems. Most people stay broke because they're fighting the wrong battles, working harder instead of smarter, saving instead of investing, micromanaging small expenses while ignoring big ones. Here's your reality check. Every day you don't solve these problems, you're choosing to stay broke. But every day you do solve them, you're choosing to build wealth. The game isn't rigged against you. You just haven't learned the rules yet. Now you have them. These 5 problems are standing between you and financial freedom. The solutions aren't complicated, but they require you to think differently than the broke people around you who fall into lifestyle inflation traps, upgrading their lifestyle every time they get a raise instead of investing the difference. Stop making excuses. Start making money. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today. If this hit different and you're ready to stop being broke, smash that subscribe button and let's build wealth. The financially free life you want is waiting on the other side of these problems.